Good afternoon and welcome everyone to the class on daily current affairs with me Jatin Verma. So this is our first class. For first 15 minutes we will have an orientation as to how we are going to proceed along in this course on current affairs. Current affairs is considered to be the most challenging area insofar as UPSC civil services examination preparation is concerned. So what approach I am going to follow here, I'll give you a glimpse of it, you being the most important stakeholder in this course. तो उस अप्रोच से आई विल लाइक टू टेल यू कि करंट अफेयर्स को प्रिपेयर कैसे करना है. अब तक हमारी जो जर्नी चल रही थी डेली न्यूज़ एनालिसिस और ये सब चीज़ों के जरिए हम इस कोर्स को चला रहे थे, बट अभी इसकी अप्रोच करंट अफेयर्स को प्रिपेयर करने की हमें चेंज करनी होगी बिकॉज यूपीएससी नेवर आस्क्स यू दी करंट अफेयर्स इन दिस मैनर, करंट अफेयर्स इन द मैनर ऑफ न्यूज़ आर्टिकल्स कि इस दिन क्या हुआ था और इस एडिटोरियल में क्या लिखा था. This is the conventional approach. Many people prepare for current affairs in this approach कि इस दिन क्या हुआ था, उस दिन क्या हुआ था. But UPSC asks them in a manner that is largely in a topic based manner. प्रणव को बुलाओ. तो ये जो चीज़ें हैं हमें एक बार ये टॉपिक बेस्ड मैनर में चीज़ों को पढ़ने की आदत डालनी होगी कि कैसे टॉपिक बेस्ड मैनर में चीज़ों को स्टडी किया जाए. जस्ट गिव मी 1 मिनट गाइस. मेरे इसमें ये नहीं चल रहा लैपटॉप में वीडियो, ये कहीं और से लॉग्ड इन है स्टूडियो जतिन में. इसमें जस्ट 1 मिनट गाइस, सॉरी फॉर द इंटरप्शन. नहीं, इसमें क्लास में लॉगिन करना है. यहाँ से मैंने स्टूडियो जतिन में कोर्सेज एक्सेस कर रहा हूँ ना, तो ये ऑलरेडी कहीं आईडी चल रही है, इसमें कोर्स चल रहा है. I just want to keep a tab on your comments, so that's why it's important for me to log in. ये नहीं चल रहा, चेक करो एक बार. Yes, now I can see your comments guys. तो हम इस अप्रोच कोर्स में लार्जली जो अप्रोच फॉलो करने जा रहे हैं वो करने जा रहे हैं टॉपिक बेस्ड. अब टॉपिक बेस्ड में हमें कैसे चीज़ों को फॉलो करना है, दिस आई विल टेल यू. जस्ट वांट टू कीप अ टैब ऑन योर So here we are. Now टॉपिक बेस्ड मैनर में हमारा ये सिस्टम हो जाता है कि हमें जो चीज़ें पढ़नी है वो कुछ इस वे से पढ़नी है कि टॉपिक्स हमारे कवर हों, टॉपिक्स के अराउंड जो भी पॉइंट्स हैं इन अ 365 डिग्री मैनर, टॉपिक्स के अराउंड जो भी पॉइंट्स हैं वो कवर हो जाए. Is it working now? Is it working fine now? Okay. So when we say that we are going to follow the topic based approach, basically if there is a topic of, let's say if we are going to cover the topic of railway reform, we are going to cover every aspect of railway reform. For example, if the government has announced the privatization of railways, keeping the railways at the center, we have to cover every topic around railways in last 5 years. Vision 2020 of railways, Anil Kakodkar committee, the last few committees that have been appointed for railway reform, then parliamentary standing committee on railway reforms, what it has got to say, and then previous few years, last few years mein this important development has happened that railway budget has been merged with the general budget. Analyze the impact of this change. So this way what we would be doing is we are not following the news articles on a daily basis. Now you would ask me, then what is the advantage of following the daily current affairs or the daily news analysis? Well, that is a trend in the industry that you have to read the Hindu on a daily basis, right? That is how the people have been preparing. Why? Because human mind observes and absorbs the things in a slow and steady wins the race kind of a manner. But that is not necessary. If you are an aspirant and you are short on time, then you can follow this approach as well. 5 points from the critical observations of Parliamentary Standing Committee report on railways. This is very critical. This talks about the operating ratio and other things. Operating ratio of railways. If these kind of events are happening, for example, some incident has happened around railways, something wrong has happened, some accident has happened, we need not cover that, right? मैनिंग ऑफ रेलवे स्टेशन, देन IRCTC का सॉफ्टवेयर कोई डेवलप हुआ है, उसका जो साइंटिफिक एंगल है, तो हम 360 डिग्री एनालिसिस में उस टॉपिक को होलिस्टिकली कवर कर लेंगे. देन देयर इज अ न्यूज ऑफ प्राइवेटाइजेशन ऑफ रेलवेज. नाउ लुक एट इट एज वन एस्पेक्ट ऑफ रेलवेज ओनली. प्राइवेटाइजेशन के पॉजिटिव पॉइंट्स क्या हैं, नेगेटिव पॉइंट्स क्या हैं, दिस इज व्हाट वी नीड टू नो. And then setting up of rail tariff authority, this comes as an other news, whether the setting up of rail tariff authority will bode well for the consumers, for the passengers, for the government or for the private stakeholders, the private entrepreneurs. किसके लिए ये अच्छा होगा, किसके लिए बुरा होगा, हमें ये एंगल इसका देखना होगा, राइट? तो हर डायमेंशन को हम कुछ इस वे में अगर कवर कर लेते हैं तो वी आर प्रिपरेशन ऑफ करंट अफेयर्स विल बी फुल प्रूफ. इन द प्रोसेस वी शुड नो रेलवेज एज अ सब्जेक्ट. प्रीलिम्स ओरिएंटेड डिटेल्स क्या है? रेलवेज एज अ सब्जेक्ट फॉल्स इनटू which list, falls under which list of subjects? State list, concurrent list, union list. Which entry is it? Right, that's it. That is all that is needed. अच्छा, अगर इसका हिस्ट्री बैकग्राउंड में जाएं तो there was a committee, Ackworth Committee. Ackworth Committee was the committee in 1920s to suggest the separation of railway budget from the general budget. Right? सिंपल इतनी सी चीजें. फिर उसके बाद टेक्नोलॉजिकल एंगल पे अगर हम आए तो बुलेट ट्रेन में कौन सी टेक्नोलॉजी यूज होती है, वो सारी चीजें. बुलेट ट्रेन जो इंडिया में लाई जा रही है मैगलेव टेक्नोलॉजी से चलेगी. क्लियर? तो मैग्नेटिक लेविटेशन टेक्नोलॉजी, मैगलेव टेक्नोलॉजी से ये चलेगी. उसके अलावा रेलवेज में और क्या सुधार हो रहे हैं? बायो टॉयलेट्स. किसने बनाए रेलवेज में जो बायो टॉयलेट्स हैं, उससे फायदे क्या होंगे? व्हाट वुड बी द बेनिफिट्स ऑफ बायो टॉयलेट्स? ये भी हमने गैमेट कवर कर लिया. यू शुड बी क्लियर एज टू what is expected of you. UPSC is not asking you कि 14 फरवरी को वैलेंटाइंस डे के दिन रेलवेज के साथ में कौन सा प्यार हुआ था. nobody is going to ask you these kind of things. ठीक है? 31 फरवरी को क्या हुआ था, कोई किसी को नहीं पड़ी. क्लियर? वो सिर्फ ये पूछेंगे कि रेलवेज में अभी what is going on in the railways as a sector. You should have 5 points on everything. Vision 2020 के 5 to 8 points अगर हमें याद हो जाते हैं, सैम पिट्रोडा कमेटी के या अनिल ककोडकर कमेटी ऑन रेलवे सेफ्टी के, our job is done. Nobody is bothered about what this particular writer is writing in the newspaper and all. If you can paraphrase their views into point number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, your task is, your job is done. So your approach towards the current affairs should change now onwards. Are you getting my point? Is it clear to everyone? So this is the approach that we are going to follow. Let me just erase all this. Similarly, we can follow this approach for any sector. Let's say Manrega. Okay, Manrega is just one scheme, but it remains in news. So reforms in Manrega, RTI, then Right to Information Act के बाद judiciary, then education, since new education policy has come in. Likewise, we have to prepare all these 30-35 topics, 50 topics. 50 topics will themselves, they will have their different fins. Okay, you can say that इनके अपने कुछ और arrows इसमें से निकलेंगे. RTI Act 25 years to RTI, 15 years to RTI, these kind of topics. Appointment का topic है RTI का. Then judiciary में अपने 4-5 issues निकलेंगे, 10 issues निकलेंगे. Master of the roster, appointment, backlog, Are you getting my point? You have to run your brain as to for what all topics has judiciary been in news in last 1 year, before 1 month before your mains examination. प्रीलिम्स में जुडिशरी के अराउंड ये डिटेल्स पूछी जाएंगी कि जुडिशरी में अगर सीजेआई की रिमूवल का प्रपोजल आया था तो सीजेआई की रिमूवल के लिए एक रिमूवल रेजोल्यूशन को मूव किया गया था. मोशन वाज ब्रॉट अबाउट फॉर रिमूवल ऑफ सीजेआई दीपक मिश्रा. तो दे वुड आस्क कि सीजेआई की रिमूवल का प्रोसेस क्या होता है. आर्टिकल 124 क्लॉज 4, preparation of prelims has to go along with preparation of mains. Why am I giving this orientation? Because there is no point in me telling you कि हाँ इस current affairs में ऐसा हुआ है, उसमें ऐसा हुआ है, पढ़ लेना, अब हो गई छुट्टी. There is no point in doing that. जो चीज़ें, जो legislations draft में होती हैं, जैसे कि draft EIA norms, environment impact assessment norms. Now UPSC एक का एक स्टैंडर्ड है कि ड्राफ्ट इज सब्जेक्ट टू अपडेशंस एंड अमेंडमेंट्स एंड ऑल. अपडेट्स होंगे इसमें, हो सकता है कि इसको वापस ले लिया जाए. दैट्स व्हाई यूपीएससी वुड नेवर आस्क द क्वेश्चन ऑन ड्राफ्ट्स इन प्रीलिम्स. नो क्वेश्चन प्रीलिम्स में. प्रीलिम्स में दे वुड आस्क क्वेश्चंस ओनली ऑन फाइनल पॉलिसी. प्रीलिम्स इज फॉर फाइनल. ड्राफ्ट के अराउंड जो भी प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, सिटीजनशिप अमेंडमेंट एक्ट का ड्राफ्ट, डिसेबिलिटी का ड्राफ्ट, 2016 का मेंस का क्वेश्चन पेपर चेक कर सकते हो. यू विल से दैट यस यू वर राइट. तो हर बार ड्राफ्ट पे प्रीलिम्स में कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं पूछा गया. ड्राफ्ट के अराउंड चाइल्ड लेबर के लिए इंटरनेशनल लेबर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की कन्वेंशन 138 के अराउंड क्वेश्चन पूछा जाएगा, जो उसका जो चीज ऑलरेडी सेटल्ड है. कंज्यूमर प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट इज इन न्यूज बिकॉज ऑफ द अमेंडमेंट. If that act has finally been notified, if the act finally got notified, then it is fine. Then the notified thing would prevail. Then उसके provisions पूछे जा सकते हैं. लेकिन अगर Consumer Protection Act notified नहीं है, draft है या amendment bill is pending in लोकसभा और राज्यसभा, then they would ask the questions from old Consumer Protection Act or Consumer Protection Policy, etc. etc. E-commerce rules, if they are in the draft stage, nobody is going to ask question in prelims. prelims में ये क्वेश्चन नहीं पूछेगी यूपीएससी. अगर EIA फाइनल नहीं हुआ तो EIA ओल्ड EIA के अराउंड अभी प्रोविजन क्या है, और अगर हम थोड़ा रिमोटली रिलेट करें तो फिर ये कोस्टल रेगुलेशन जोन में भी क्वेश्चन जा सकता है. यूपीएससी माइट वेंचर इनटू coastal regulation zone. So the trigger factor for UPSC to ask question from the coastal regulation zone may not be there, but EIA would act as the debate and discussion and the controversy around the draft EIA would act as the trigger factor. Trigger factor matlab what made UPSC ask that particular question in current affairs. This is how we ought to prepare. अब आप ये बोलोगे कि कैन वी स्किप आउट ऑन डेली द हिंदू न्यूज़पेपर रीडिंग? यस, इफ you can absorb these things in a topic based manner, then it is easy for you. Newspaper keeps you abreast of what is happening. You can gradually absorb things from the newspaper, but ये जरूरी नहीं कि हर दिन का न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ाओ, right? This is going to be helpful for 2022 as well as 2020, 2021. Why? Because UPSC is not giving you a deadline कि हम इसी से question पूछेंगे. And in the last few years it has been observed that questions have been asked from years as backward as 2014, 2015, 2013. ठीक है, इतनी पीछे से भी questions पूछे गए हैं. एंड जो अप्रोच हम इसमें फॉलो करने जा रहे हैं, अब अगर जुडिशरी की कोई जजमेंट है जो आज के किसी इशू से रिलेटेड है, राइट, जैसे कि अभी जो इशू चल रहा है कॉन्टेम्प्ट ऑफ कोर्ट का, कॉन्टेम्प्ट ऑफ कोर्ट एक्ट पे जो सेलिएंट जजमेंट है, इवन इफ दैट जजमेंट इज ऑफ 2014, वी वुड नॉट हेजिटेट टू अंडरलाइन द सेलिएंट एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ दैट जजमेंट. व्हाई? बिकॉज वी हैव टू सब्सटैंशिएट, we have to give the points. If recently the case is going on, the debate has not settled or muck is not settled, if the muck raking is still going on, तो contempt of court act 1971 के अराउंड जो पहले के क्वेश्चंस हैं वो हम कवर करेंगे. बहुत ही प्रिडिक्टेबल वे में हम करंट अफेयर्स कवर कर सकते हैं. अब आप ये बोलोगे कि हिस्ट्री में करंट अफेयर्स के लिए कुछ नहीं होता. आई वुड से दिस इज 2020. 1920 में हिस्ट्री में क्या हुआ था, राइट? इपोकल कुछ शुरुआत हुई थी, राइट? सेंटिनरी ईयर के वे से क्वेश्चंस पूछे जा सकते हैं, राइट? अगर कोई ज्योग्राफी में पूछे कि कुछ ज्योग्राफी में कुछ नहीं आता करंट अफेयर्स में, एल नीनो ला नीना, जब कभी ये फिनोमिना ऑब्जर्व किया जाता है, ड्राउट का, सूखा हो गया इंडिया में, कुछ ऐसा हो गया, या कोई क्रॉप फेलियर हुआ, या कुछ फार्मर सुइसाइड्स के इंसिडेंट्स बढ़ रहे हैं, तो रूट कॉज क्या है, एल नीनो और ला नीना, या कोई वॉल्केनिक इरप्शन, कहाँ पे, पैसिफिक रिंग ऑफ फायर में अगर कोई वॉल्केनिक इरप्शन हुआ है, दैट ऑल्सो यू हैव टू कवर। ट्रिगर फैक्टर क्या है, ऑस्ट्रेलिया में फायर्स हुई, ऑस्ट्रेलिया में जो फायर्स हुई उसके पीछे कौन सा वार्म वाटर करंट था जो रिस्पॉन्सिबल था, उसका नाम आपको पता होना चाहिए। पैलेस्टीन और इजराइल को लेके जो चीज़ें चल रही हैं, यूएई ने इजराइल के साथ में डिप्लोमेटिक टाइज को एस्टैब्लिश करा, तो आपको जो अकॉर्ड है, जो अग्रीमेंट दोनों के बीच में साइन किया गया, उसको क्या कहा जा रहा है, उसका नाम क्या है, ये चीज़ें याद होनी चाहिए। क्लियर? सो दिस इज हाउ यूपीएससी आस्क्स दी क्वेश्चंस। ब्रॉडली मैंने बता दिया कि अगर हम मेंस की प्रिपरेशन कर रहे हैं तो हमें कोई भी टॉपिक को सेंटर में रखना है और उसका 360 डिग्री एनालिसिस करना है। अगर हम बिना 360 डिग्री एनालिसिस किए ये कहें कि हमने जुडिशरी में जो न्यूज़ में चल रहा था हमने वो कवर कर लिया, देन सॉरी, यू मे नॉट बी एबल टू स्कोर वेल। क्यों? अगर कोई नेशनल लिटिगेशन पॉलिसी है, अगर बैकलॉग ऑफ केसेस का नाम चल रहा है इसमें कि न्यूज़ में चल रहा है बैकलॉग ऑफ केसेस, पेंडेंसी ऑफ केसेस बहुत ज़्यादा है, बैकलॉग ऑफ वैकेंसीज ज़्यादा है, तो नेशनल लिटिगेशन पॉलिसी 2010, व्हाट इज दिस पॉलिसी अबाउट? दिस पॉलिसी इज द सॉल्यूशन, राइट? इंडिया इफ इट इज फेसिंग साइबर सिक्योरिटी थ्रेट्स, इंडिया अगर साइबर सिक्योरिटी थ्रेट्स वगैरह को फेस कर रहा है तो नेशनल साइबर सिक्योरिटी पॉलिसी पे क्वेश्चन पूछा जाएगा, बिकॉज यू आर being looked upon as administrators in the making. You have to be a man of or a woman of solutions. Man of solutions यहाँ पे चाहिए. Administrator is the person whom the government looks up to. मीडिया का काम है रेबल राउजिंग करना, आपको बैकग्राउंड चेक करना पड़ेगा कि ये पॉलिसी में क्या खामियां हैं। अगर साइबर सिक्योरिटी पॉलिसी होने के बावजूद भी हमारे यहाँ पे साइबर अटैक्स हो रहे हैं, या फिर अगर नेशनल लिटिगेशन पॉलिसी होने के बावजूद भी हमारे यहाँ पे ये बैकलॉग ऑफ केसेस इंक्रीज हो रहा है, दैट इज अ फेलियर ऑफ नेशनल लिटिगेशन पॉलिसी. व्हाट आर द रीजंस? क्रिटिकली एनालाइज नेशनल लिटिगेशन पॉलिसी, क्रिटिकली एनालाइज नेशनल साइबर सिक्योरिटी पॉलिसी. और ये क्वेश्चन पूछा गया 2014-15 में. फॉर एनी पॉलिसी और प्रोग्राम 5 years, आफ्टर 5 years यू वुड सी कि ये क्वेश्चन पूछा जाएगा, क्रिटिकली एनालाइज दी or evaluate the progress under Swachh Bharat Mission or any other grand flagship program of Government of India. Clear है approach सबको? Last 2 minutes for the questions around the approach in which we are going to cover these questions. Afterwards, we are going to start with the topic of the day. I'll be using bilingual. Editorial reading helps us in answer writing. How will we do that? First 1 hour we will be doing the editorial analysis. This editorial, the electricity topic which I have chosen for today, this topic will again be updated. Let me tell you, many people ask this course is daily current affairs or current affairs roundup. What is the meaning of current affairs roundup? Topics which we are covering today in a detailed manner, the editorials around the topics like contempt of court, okay, they'll be analyzed in the first 1 hour. Now I may not be limit myself to religiously to 1 hour. It could be 45 minutes on some days, it could be 30 minutes, or on some days it could be 1 hour 30 minutes, right? And for remaining time, on an average another 1 hour, second hour would be given to the topic based analysis. Now this topic based analysis that we are taking in the month of August, electricity, this would again be updated in the month of October, right, when the act would be passed or something like that. Then afterwards we would be venturing into current affairs roundup 365. This is how I have planned this. If I come up with the current affairs roundup 365 straightforward in the month of December, many people would not be able to understand the ABCD of it. So it's better to join this course early, and it's better to be regular with this. Why? Then roundup means revision. From January 4 onwards, what we would be doing is we would be updating these topics. For example, today electricity class August plus then October if there are any updates, plus then finally January 4 onwards this topic might again be revised on let's say 15th of February or March, if there are some updates pending, my team will be deciding, we will be deciding whether whether the Electricity Amendment Act is actually going to be passed or not. Whether it has been passed in the month of December, okay, it's the time for update, to update the students that yes, the act has finally been passed, and what questions can you expect in the prelims. Is it clear? Is the structure part clear to you? So everything that you are reading in the newspaper or editorial, the thought provoking things, they would be incorporated in the first 1 hour. Now we may not be able to go behind every piece of news, but yes, the important news articles in a topic based manner will be covered in first 1 hour. On some days it could be just one editorial or two editorials, but yes, the analysis of those one or two editorials or news clippings would be incisive, right? इन डेप्थ एनालिसिस रहेगा. उसके बाद जो सेकंड टॉपिक रहेगा उसको आप टॉपिक बेस्ड मैनर में पॉइंट फॉर्मेट में सारी चीजें देख पाओगे. पॉइंट नंबर 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 दैट वे. This will help you, organize your preparation of current affairs. There would be no loose threads, because this 1 hour topic could be a summation of topics, the news articles covered on August 17, 18, 19, 20. On 21st, we can have the summation of all these news editorials in the form of points. Hope the structure is clear to all of you. PDF of the lectures will be provided. DNA में जो important चीजें हैं वो cover हो जाएंगी, don't worry, right? No, you need not cover the DNA. Please try to understand. You will be required to make notes, of course. Some jotting down would be required here. Clear? Science and Tech and Environment will also be covered. EIA, Environment Impact Assessment, is the topic of that only. Science and Tech में DRDO का भी मैंने example दिया, right? So shall we proceed ahead now? तुम लोग ऐसे questions पूछते रहोगे. Science and Tech मैंने इसीलिए जो examples दिए different sections of current affairs से दिए. DRDO, then Environment Impact Assessment, then Geography. So as to tell you guys through the medium of this example that we would be covering current affairs from every aspect. It's not only going to be about some sections of current affairs, it's going to be a holistic course on current affairs, right? Now, proposed amendments to Electricity Act 2003. Government's proposal for reform of power tariff policy with the recent comprehensive proposal to amend Electricity Act 2003. Electricity is a subject given in the concurrent list, right? So both the center and the states have got a stake in this. It is being criticized for eroding the concurrent status accorded to electricity in the constitution. If these amendments will be implemented, they will not only weaken the center's control over an industry supplying a basic human necessity such as electricity, but also arm the center with a pincer-like weapon, which could choke the distribution utility companies, the distribution companies, and or what we call as DISCOMs. Right? Now let us understand the power sector and the trigger factor behind this. As a part of Atmanirbhar Bharat program and the announcements, 5 to 6 announcements that came in the process of this lockdown antidote, government announced these kind of things related to power sector. Here you would see that power sector, public sector undertakings to lend rupees 90,000 crore to distressed state distribution companies, right? Power PSUs, power public sector undertakings will lend 90,000 crore rupees. Even though it is a concurrent subject, but central government has been taking the steps to improve the situation of power sector distribution companies. Let us understand कि ये power sector structure है क्या overall. What is this structure all about? Now, electricity generation, right? So thermal power plants and all that you see. तो thermal generation के बाद आता है transmission. Right, those big poles and all, जिससे कि वो 20,000 वोल्ट का झटका and all, right? So this is it. And then finally comes the distribution, delivery of electricity to the households, electrification of the households, right? So power supply to the households, this is distribution, the last link. In India, transmission and distribution losses are to the extent of 25%. Some of the transmission and distribution losses are a part of the physics, the resistance theory. Okay, resistance, measure of resistance in the electricity wires is ohm, OHM, which has now been reduced technically to 3 to 4% in USA, in the advanced countries. Why? Because of advancement in the transmission lines. The lines, they get heated because of the continuous supply of electricity. That is why. And then you see the transformers and all near your houses. This is the job of the distribution company. In India, transmission and distribution companies are in the domain of state governments. Transmission companies are, some of the transmission companies are being run in a manner that central government, Ministry of Power and state governments have a joint venture in them. Joint venture, all of you understand? अब यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है कि इंडिया में लॉसेस को फिगर आउट करने के लिए पहले क्या होता था, पंजाब स्टेट पावर डिपार्टमेंट, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ इलेक्ट्रिसिटी ऑफ स्टेट ऑफ पंजाब विल मैनेज द एंटायर गैमेट. लेकिन यूएसए या बाकी चीज़ों से एग्जाम्पल लेते हुए, बाकी कंट्रीज से एग्जाम्पल लेते हुए हमने ये समझा कि हमें इनको सेग्रीगेट करना होगा. व्हाट वी कॉल एज हाइविंग ऑफ. जैसे एक बी हाइव होता है, बी हाइव जब बहुत बड़ा हो जाता है, मधुमक्खी का छत्ता, तो उसे हाइव ऑफ कर देते हैं, राइट? उसी की साइड में आप देखते हो कि एडजेसेंट एक और बी हाइव क्रिएट हो जाता है. हाइविंग ऑफ इज अ कमर्शियल टर्म विच हैज बीन डिराइव्ड फ्रॉम द फिनोमेना ऑफ बी हाइव. अब बी हाइव में क्या होता है, हाइविंग ऑफ में क्या हो रहा है कि हम एक एंटिटी को, जैसे मारुति अगर है तो मारुति को टायर बनाने वाला जो सेगमेंट है, हम उस टायर बनाने वाले सेगमेंट को अलग कर दे रहे हैं, सो एज टू सी एज टू हाउ मच ऑफ स्पेशलाइजेशन एंड हाउ मच ऑफ money is going into that. Rather than totally outsourcing the tires, Maruti wants to control the supply chain. Maruti is procuring the tires from its own company and is supplying the tires to this company. समझ में आया? तो अब यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है कि क्योंकि हाइविंग ऑफ क्यों करना जरूरी हो गया, बिकॉज जेनरेशन इज अ profit oriented activity. You put coal into it and you generate electricity. यहाँ पे तो ठीक चल रहा था. ट्रांसमिशन में लॉसेज होने लगे, फिर डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन में सबसे ज्यादा लॉस होने लगा बिकॉज ऑफ नॉट जस्ट फ्री पावर टू द फार्मर्स बट बिकॉज ऑफ मैनी अदर pertinent reasons, related reasons to it. Now what are the related reasons? related reasons ये हैं कि पावर थेफ्ट इन इंडिया. Not only this, the steel furnace companies were not properly charged for the electricity being consumed by them because they had relations with the political class in the state. Am I clear? So because of all these reasons, these things were happening, that the government of India thought to pass Electricity Act 2003 to regulate the gamut of electricity management in India. और उसके बाद नेशनल ग्रिड बनाई गई. तो हुआ क्या, फिर उसके बाद 2003 के बाद एक बड़ा रिफॉर्म ये आया क्योंकि इंडिया वाज अ पावर स्कैर्स कंट्री. वी डिड नॉट हैव इनफ पावर इलेक्ट्रिसिटी टू सप्लाई टू आवर रेजिडेंशियल एरियाज एंड दी इंडस्ट्रियल एरियाज. तो ट्रांसमिशन एंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन को अलग से कंपनीज बना दी गई. पंजाब स्टेट, फॉर एग्जाम्पल आई एम यूजिंग पंजाब स्टेट पावर जनरेशन कॉर्पोरेशन लिमिटेड. it's a public company but with a limited liability. Now government of Punjab will issue the bonds. Government of Punjab will sign a memorandum of understanding with the company, and company has to report it to the Ministry of Power, Union Ministry of Power, whether the Punjab government is paying it on time or not. It was applicable to UP, it was applicable to Tamil Nadu, every state in India. Memorandum of understanding basically means user pay basis. These two agencies, even though this agency is a part of government of Punjab only, 100% or 90% or up to 50% owned by Government of Punjab. Nonetheless, it will charge for every unit of electricity supplied to the other company that was created, Punjab State Power Transmission Corporation Limited, so as to figure out as to where the loss is happening. Punjab State Power Distribution Corporation Limited. Clear? Transmission company will give the record of every unit of electricity being purchased from the power generation company. Generation company will have to give a record of every kg of every ton of coal being used into it. Clear hai? Are the things getting clear or not? Is this clear to everyone? Let's have a roll call guys. कितने लोग देख रहे हो फटाफट से बताओ. अब यहाँ पे देखते हैं कि ये सारी चीजें जो चल रही थी, अब डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कंपनी ने क्या किया? What did distribution company do? डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कंपनी क्योंकि जो फार्मर्स को सब्सिडी वगैरह देगी तो पंजाब स्टेट लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली को बिल पास करना पड़ेगा. पंजाब स्टेट गवर्नमेंट विल इशू बॉन्ड्स टू दीज डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कंपनीज. These bonds issued by the Punjab state government can be used. Just 1 minute. These bonds could be used by the company, which company? Punjab State Distribution Company, to borrow money from the public sector banks. Now, public sector banks thought that there is a guarantee of the state government. State government is issuing these bonds, so why not to rely on these bonds? These bonds were issued by the state government and these bonds were discounted by the public sector banks. Banks kept these bonds assurance to pay the money after 10-15 years, and these bonds were kept as a collateral on the basis of which public distribution companies again got the finance. This finance that they got, they spent it on transmission company. Transmission companies then borrowed the money from again the public sector banks like Punjab National Bank, SBI, and then transmission companies, the bonds that were paid by the transmission that were kept as a collateral by the transmission company was a factor of solace to rest in comfort. Public sector banks were relying on them, but when the due date of the maturity of the bond came, state government of Punjab or government of UP issued another renewal bond for next 15 years to prolong this process of actual payment of debt. Now this public sector bank goes to RBI to keep this as a collateral. After a stage, RBI is a commercial entity. RBI said no, a strict no to this, right? तो अब नहीं, अब सिलसिला खत्म करना पड़ेगा. Problem rose to such an extent that central government had to come up with a scheme called Uday scheme, Ujjwal Discom Assurance Yojana, so that this entire thing, the culture of free power to the farmers, the free power was leading to other problems as well. What were the other problems? In its turn, groundwater depletion was happening. Plus, the political top brass had a stake in the power generation plants, or they got a stake in the steel plant run by the businessman. They got 25% stake, and the actual electricity consumed by the steel furnace, the steel plant in the state of Punjab, in the Gobindgarh, the Asia's largest scrap iron market, right? So they melt the iron ore, they melt the iron, scrap iron, and then convert it into steel sheets or iron sheets again, iron rods. But they were not paying the bills, electricity bills up as per the actual usage. This led to the losses of power sector distribution companies being legitimized or being justified in the name of the poor gullible farmer. Now Government of India is telling these companies to stop this culture of subsidizing the power. Free power to the farmers should be stopped. Getting my point? So this is the reform that is underway, because losses are up to the level that if a sarpanch wants to get the votes of the entire village. Sarpanch would tell to the village men that okay, you do the theft of the power. I'm sitting here. If the police and if the electricity department comes, anybody, any official from the electricity department comes, I'll manage them. So this kind of a culture is now being uprooted, and that is why the resistance from the state governments. Now you got the point. These corporation form will have its own managing director, and managing director would be given the autonomy to recover the money. This managing director would not be under the direct control of the government anymore, and they have to submit their balance sheet and profit and loss account as to how much money they are earning. If they are into losses, why they are into losses. They have to attach a statement of approval from the minister of the Punjab government, elected power minister, that yes, they were authorized to sell the electricity produced at the cost of ₹6 per unit at a cost of 0.50 paisa to distribution company. Distribution company in turn would have to have the authorization from the state legislative assembly or the Punjab power ministry that yes, ministry would stand by this commitment to supply free power to electricity to the farmers, and in turn ministry would give them the money in the form of bonds. Now when these bonds are being defaulted upon, public sector banks of India are in a spot. Moody's and other rating agencies, they are showing these public sector banks in a negative light. They are threatening them with the further downgrade, which would downgrade the profile of India's financial market. That is why the central government has come up with this electricity reform. Clear? Let me add another angle. This part is clear to everyone? Three companies: generation, transmission and distribution. The losses were majorly in the transmission and distribution. Now let me add the third angle to it. This generation, transmission and distribution is a populist area which is quite the segment of the power sector which is quite affected by the populism. What is populism? Populism means लोग लुभावने वादे करना या कुछ ऐसी चीज़ें जो कि इकोनॉमिकली जस्टिफाई नहीं की जा सकती, जैसे कि फ्री इलेक्ट्रिसिटी. अब इस प्रेशर, इसमें बहुत ज़्यादा डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कंपनीज में सबसे ज़्यादा लॉसेज होते हैं. अब गवर्नमेंट ने क्या किया, पावर प्रोडक्शन में प्राइवेट सेक्टर काफ़ी टाइम से था. पावर प्रोडक्शन, ठीक है, पावर जनरेशन 2008 में अल्ट्रा मेगा पावर प्रोजेक्ट्स पॉलिसी लाई गई. व्हाट आर दीज अल्ट्रा मेगा पावर प्रोजेक्ट्स? मध्य प्रदेश में देयर इज वन अल्ट्रा मेगा पावर प्रोजेक्ट, पंजाब में देयर इज अनदर, महाराष्ट्र में देयर आर 2 अल्ट्रा मेगा पावर प्रोजेक्ट्स ऑफ 4000 megawatt each. This was done by the Manmohan Singh government. Under this power purchase, under this ultra mega power project policy, UMPP policy, companies like Reliance Power were given loans by the Reliance Power, Adani Power, Tata Power were given the loans by the public sector banks or private sector banks to some extent, so as to construct the thermal power plant. 2010 thermal power plant. Now these thermal power plants started producing the electricity, right? And when they were producing the electricity, everything was hunky-dory. They had they had an agreement called power purchase agreement with the state utility, state transmission company, Punjab State or UP State Transmission Corporation Limited. Now this power purchase agreement was signed at the behest of state electricity commissions. Getting my point? Regulatory bodies, state electricity commission. And under this power purchase agreement, Reliance used this power purchase agreement as an assurance to tell the bank that rest assured, I have a ready-made customer sitting for me to purchase the power, and the money that I will earn through these power purchase agreements, I will pay the debt of SBI. I'll pay, Reliance would be able to pay the debt of PNB, SBI, Tata would be able to pay, Adani would be able to pay. All of a sudden, 2010 onwards, the policy changed. Policy was to give fillip to renewable energy. Renewable energy policy came up. Now, since the focus is now on renewable energy, wind energy, 1.75 gigawatt target, these thermal power plants are not viable. Why? Because there is a compulsory obligation by the Ministry of Environment and Forest on every state transmission corporation limited to buy 5%, then 10%, then 15% of electricity from these renewable energy power plants, windmill or solar mill. They have to have this energy mix. They stopped procuring the electricity from coal-based power plants. Why would a transmission corporation purchase the electricity from the coal-based power plant when it is going to get carbon credits and other incentives in the form of renewal of loan on the basis of the fact whether they have purchased the renewable energy or not? They would get incentivized, they would win awards and carbon credits. This is why this policy flip-flop in the form of the erstwhile focus on just making India a power surplus nation, then making India a power surplus nation with green quotient, with focus on green energy. उस वजह से ये सारी पॉलिसी चेंज हो गई. समझ में आया? तो ये सारी जो चीज़ें हुई इस वजह से थर्मल पावर प्लांट्स के जो बैड डेट्स हैं वो बैंकिंग सेक्टर को, पब्लिक सेक्टर बैंक्स को दो तरह से सैंडविच कर रहे हैं. एक तरफ से स्टेट रन डिस्कॉम्स, स्टेट डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कंपनीज हैं, और दूसरी तरफ कौन है? प्राइवेट जनरेशन कंपनीज. तो पब्लिक सेक्टर बैंक्स आर सैडल्ड विद so much of NPA, so many NPA cases here. Private generation companies, largely the coal-based thermal power plants. That is why the losses of these public sector banks are increasing. इसीलिए गवर्नमेंट बार बार ये कोशिश करती है कि इसको ameliorate किया जाए. Now the buck doesn't stop here. If we go backwards, Coal India Limited, ठीक है, अभी के लिए सारा सेक्टर समझ में आ गया. इसके पीछे, जनरेशन कंपनी के पीछे एक और चेन है. व्हाट इज दैट चेन? दिस विल नॉट गो. दैट चेन इज generation, transmission and distribution. Now the back end chain is supply of coal. Coal is to be supplied by monolithic company, a big mammoth company. This is Coal India Limited. Until recently, Coal India Limited was the only producer of coal in India because coal is nationalized. Nationalized coal होने की वजह से Coal India Limited is the sole player. अब कोल इंडिया लिमिटेड के साथ प्रॉब्लम क्या होती है? वेन एवर देर इज गुड मॉनसून इन द कंट्री, कोल प्रोडक्शन गोज डाउन. वाई? बिकॉज वी हैव गॉट व्हाट वी कॉल एज ओपन कास्ट माइनिंग. ओपन कास्ट इज you are digging a hole, okay, you are digging a big hole, and then there is another mining which is called as rat hole mining. Rat hole mining is not suggested in a country like India. Just like a rat digs a hole, so this is the coal block and rat hole is dug into it. But what happens is, in the monsoonal times, in the times of monsoon, they just cave in, leading to the trapping of workers inside it. Okay, so that's why. And it is dangerous also for other reasons, for coal induced respiratory diseases and all. So this is not practiced in India because of the topography of India and monsoonal pattern of Indian rainfall. तो ओपन कास्ट माइनिंग की वजह से कोल इंडिया लिमिटेड वॉज नॉट एबल टू मीट द रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ पावर सेक्टर generation companies, largely the private companies. So private companies, because they were not provided sufficient amount of coal, they had a coal purchase agreement with the Reliance had a coal purchase agreement with Coal India Limited, right? Reliance coal purchase agreement with Coal India Limited. Reliance in turn had a power purchase agreement with transmission company. This was state owned. Now this company will generate the power on the basis of the coal supplied, but in 2012 monsoon was pretty good, and then in 2018-17 again, right? Whenever the monsoon has been good, the cases filed by the transmission company against the generation company, सरकारी कंपनी प्राइवेट कंपनी के खिलाफ केस फाइल करती है कोर्ट में. प्राइवेट कंपनी ये कहती है कि कोल इंडिया लिमिटेड को भी पार्टी बनाया जाए, क्योंकि कोल इंडिया लिमिटेड अगर गलती नहीं करता तो हम भी अपनी जो हमने जुबान दी है, जो हमने अग्रीमेंट किया है, हम उसको फुलफिल कर पाते हैं. अब गवर्नमेंट के लिए यहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम ये है, इलेक्शन ईयर्स हैं या कुछ ऐसा, तो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी 24/7 देनी है. गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया हैड नो ऑप्शन, आई मीन द स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स हैड नो ऑप्शन बट टू परचेज द इलेक्ट्रिसिटी फ्रॉम समबडी एल्स. एंड पावर प्रोड्यूसिंग कंपनीज, they said that we have an alternative. What was the alternative? There is an escalation clause. What is an escalation clause? In the agreements like these, there is an escalation clause that if the cost of raw material goes above a certain limit, they would seek a hike in the tariff. Electricity was supplied at 4 rupees per unit. They said that we will purchase, Reliance said that we will purchase the coal from Philippines. Despite India being surplus in the coal had to be purchased from Philippines. अब Philippines का coal आएगा महंगा. Philippines got to know that okay, this is the trouble going on in India. Let us do the cherry picking. Let us do the money making. So they Philippine government started supplying coal at an exorbitantly high price to Adani Group, Reliance Group, and they in turn wanted to recover this from the government companies. Government company said we cannot supply. If the government company agreed for the price, then also the problem is going into the court of public sector banks, because it is them who would be saddled with the bonds of the public sector distribution and transmission companies. So हम तो डूबेंगे सनम, तुमको भी ले डूबेंगे. Distribution company is taking along transmission company, transmission generation companies are taking along Coal India Limited into the, each one of them is dragging the other party into the court. Judicialization of power, समझ में आया? Judicialization of electricity, what we can call. So this is how this thing is going on. All right. Now let us come here, electricity class 1. फटाफट से अब समझते हैं. It is in this backdrop जो आज 3-4 साल से ये सारा चल रहा है, मैंने उसको sum up कर दिया. Now the time for your doubts. Stuck नहीं हो रहा मेरी तरफ से. स्टकिंग कुछ ऐसा नहीं हो रहा, कुछ भी प्रॉब्लम नहीं हो रहा कि ये स्टिक हो रहा है यहाँ से इंटरनेट या कुछ ऐसा. Rat hole mining keeps on appearing in the news. What is this reform? Power sector reform, power sector problem and power sector reform. Now this electricity, the proposed amendments to the Electricity Act, they are being projected as a way to solve this entire problem. We are studying the entire gamut of electricity problem in India, power sector problem. Isn't it interesting? मतलब पूरा सेक्टर का एक बार में आपको पता लग गया, रैट होल माइनिंग क्या है, ये सारी चीज़ें. राइट नाउ आई एम गोइंग टू फिल इन दी फैक्चुअल डिटेल्स. नाउ फटाफट से हाजिरी लगाओ एक बार तुम लोग, फटाफट छेती. So Government of India announced this power public sector undertakings to lend rupees 90,000 crore to state distribution. So this was one, and then earlier other one was power department utilities and distribution companies. Power departments and utilities and distribution companies in UTs to be privatized. So power corporation, the utilities are being sought to be privatized altogether. State governments would never allow the distribution companies to be privatized. If the distribution would be privatized, government would not have much control on the CEOs or managing directors, chief executive officers or managing directors. This was done in Delhi. We saw this in the polity class also, right? कि पावर सेक्टर कंपनी के ऊपर एक होगा स्टेट रेगुलेटरी अथॉरिटी, स्टेट इलेक्ट्रिसिटी रेगुलेटरी कमीशन। स्टेट इलेक्ट्रिसिटी रेगुलेटरी कमीशन के बेसिस पे क्या किया जाएगा, प्राइवेट कंपनी को हायर किया जाएगा इलेक्ट्रिसिटी डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करने के लिए टू द रेजिडेंट्स ऑफ दिल्ली और अदर स्टेट्स। अब डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन में अगर सब्सिडी देनी होगी देन approval of state electricity regulatory commission and government of Delhi or other state will be required, and then only you can the state government would be able to provide the electricity. And this payment term would be if the distribution company is being told to supply power at a cost of 2 rupees 50 paisa rather than the actual market price, then they would want to be paid in terms of bonds or other instruments ASAP, without which they would not supply. But if it is a government company and elections are round the corner, Chief Minister would call up the Department of Power of the state, and Department of Power will tell the State Electricity Regulatory Commission that please ask the company, we have approved this, please ask the public sector distribution company to supply power even if the bills are pending for last 6 months. Whatever power has been supplied to Department of Power, State of Punjab, Delhi, UP, it would be supplied without the bills of electricity being purchased on time. This will lead to piling up of debt. This is what the states are comfortable with. During the times of elections, they might not have the money to pay. They are digging the grave for the next government. But yes, it is important for them to win the election first and then think about the debt. Whereas if the distribution companies will be privatized, as madam is saying, then what problem will happen? State government would lose the control over the last cutting edge level, the delivery point of electricity. Now the state governments are having a say in the distribution. But if the proposed reforms, they are implemented, they are actually able to see the light of the day, then distribution might become a problem. But state government's political will getting implemented will be a problematic thing. Clear? Commercial mining on a revenue sharing basis. This is a related reform that the government has brought about. Commercial mining on a revenue sharing basis to be introduced. Companies in the private sector will be allowed to carry out exploitation, so that if Coal India Limited, the public sector undertaking, is inefficient, it does not have the technology, it is not able to modernize itself, government will be allowing the mining by private companies. Until 2018, mining was not allowed by the private companies. Why? Because of the fear of 500 crore ki shadi, because of Bellary brothers, as in Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh, right? So bribery और crony capitalism और ज़्यादा बढ़ जाएगा. कोयला निकाला जाएगा 200 करोड़ का और बताया जाएगा 100 करोड़ का. इसीलिए कोल माइनिंग अभी तक नहीं प्राइवेटाइज करी गई थी. लेकिन अब गवर्नमेंट ने क्योंकि कोल माइनिंग को प्राइवेटाइज करा है, तो ट्रेड यूनियंस, कोल इंडिया लिमिटेड की ट्रेड यूनियन इसका विद्रो कर रही है. बट कोल इंडिया लिमिटेड हैज़ नॉट बीन एबल टू meet the coal requirement of the electricity, thermal power based electricity generation companies. Clear? All right, आगे चलते हैं फटाफट. ये जो रिफॉर्म है, अब कुछ और चीज़ें सुनाई गई. इसमें क्या किया जा रहा है अमेंडमेंट बिल में, likely to be introduced in the later part of the budget session. Move to ensure renewable power purchase agreements can't be changed. Renewable power purchase agreements को कोल की स्कैसिटी में कोल पावर परचेज अग्रीमेंट को तो चेंज किया जा सकता है, लेकिन रिन्यूएबल पावर परचेज अग्रीमेंट का जो कमिटमेंट है उसको कोई भी प्राइवेट कंपनी, अदानी सोलर पावर पार्क कैन नॉट लेटर ऑन चेंज द पावर परचेज अग्रीमेंट साइंड विद द गुजरात state government, simply saying that there was not enough of solar energy or there were not enough of number of sun days. Okay, sunlit days were not enough so as to produce electricity. Other power purchase agreements, only if fuel cost changes. Only if the fuel cost changes, then only the power purchase agreements could be signed. More power to the regulators. We are going to see these points one by one. The fine print of the amendments. First, the amendment proposes sub-franchisees, presumably private, in an attempt to usher in the markets through backdoor. So what is this saying? Sub-franchises of power. So what you can do is, if a public sector electricity distribution company is there, public sector government owned company is there, it can hire Tata Power as a sub-franchisee. Franchisee is public sector electricity distribution company, but public sector electricity distribution company अगर चाहेगी तो वो सब फ्रेंचाइजी को भी खरीद सकती, सब फ्रेंचाइजी को हायर कर लेगी. ठीक है, जैसे मैं अगर किसी और को जतिन वर्मा IAS एकेडमी का कोई लाइसेंस दे दूं या सब फ्रेंचाइजी मॉडल के तहत अलाउ कर दूं कि ठीक है आप मेरा नाम यूज करके कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट चला सकते हो, तो ये अलाउ किया जा रहा है प्राइवेट सब फ्रेंचाइजेस को अलाउ करना. राइट, यहाँ पे अगर हम ये देखें, गोइंग बाय द पास्ट प्राइवेटाइजेशन एक्सपेरिमेंट्स लाइक इन न्यू दिल्ली एंड मुंबई ऑल्सो, प्राइवेट सब फ्रेंचाइजेस आर लाइकली टू चेरी पिक more profitable segments, the urban class segments. अब दिल्ली में क्या हुआ है? दिल्ली में NDPL, New Delhi Power Limited, has given the sub-franchisee. New Delhi Power Limited is a sarkari company. It has given the contract to Reliance Power and Tata Power only in the Reliance Power and Tata Power had taken the sub-franchise for supply or distribution of electricity only in the elite areas of Delhi. They are not going into Joggi Jhopadi areas where the people might not be willing to pay the escalated cost. They are more willing, they are more than happy to supply electricity to DLF, building 1, DLF society number 1, society number 2, because there the paying capacity is very high. Though here, even though NDPL will be increasing or decreasing the prices for the last mile consumer, but the private power producer will be paid as per the agreed cost between NDPL and private player. So private player increasing the cost of electricity being supplied to the last mile consumer will not have any bearing on the last mile consumer. The bearing will be on the consolidated fund of the state of Delhi. Money will be taken out at rupees 8 per unit, but customer will be provided the electricity at rupees 5 per unit. Nonetheless, this customer is paying the income tax and which is going into the consolidated fund of Delhi. Money is of taxpayer only, but private companies would be paid more than what they deserve. This can be there. Now, going by the past privatization experiments, private sub-franchises are likely to cherry pick. जो केक पे जो चेरी होती है वो उठा ली. More profitable segments of the distribution companies jurisdiction rather than taking a wholesale contract of the area, right? Now, Electricity Bill 2020 containing the proposed amendments is silent on whether a private sub-franchisee would be required to buy the expensive power, averaging out the idle fixed costs. Electricity Bill में ये clarity नहीं है कि क्या जो proposed amendments हैं कि ये distribution companies जो हैं ये बिजली खरीदेंगी सरकारी कंपनी से या प्राइवेट कंपनी की जो पावर है एक्सपेंसिव पावर भी खरीदी जाएगी. एक्सपेंसिव पावर कहाँ बात करी जा रही है? देखो यहाँ पे एक आइडलिंग एक्सपेंडिचर नाम से एक टर्म है, ठीक है, आइडलिंग फिक्स्ड चार्जेस. इवन इफ दिस प्लेस ऑफ माइन इज नॉट बीइंग यूज्ड, देयर इज एन आइडलिंग फिक्स्ड चार्ज. Salary of office boy, salary of electricity, bill of electricity, cost of air conditioning, rental cost. Similarly, when a thermal power plant is there, they calculate the costs incurred while the plant is idle. जब plant काम नहीं कर रहा, thermal power plant is not generating any electricity. Nonetheless, there is a fixed cost. Even if you are generating electricity by putting coal into it or not generating during the idle capacity, the plant manager's salary, taxes, depreciation, property taxes, everything will be added. Cost of generation of electricity is 5 rupees per unit, but if we add the cost of time for which the plant was idle, it will become 8 rupees, 3 rupees for idling fixed charges. Clear? So the bill is not clear here, the electricity bill is not clear whether the proposed amendments are going to add the whether a private sub-franchisee would be required to buy the expensive power, averaging out the idling fixed cost from the distribution company, or procure the cheaper power directly from the power exchanges. Now, what is it saying? Whether the private sub-franchisee would be required to buy the expensive power from the distribution company. अब distribution company के पास में जो power है वो idling cost को मिला के आ रही है. जो अभी हमने थर्मल पावर प्लांट देखा, ठीक है, उसमें से जो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी की कॉस्ट है वो 8 रुपीज पर यूनिट है. और देयर इज एन अदर ऑप्शन, डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कंपनी ने सब फ्रेंचाइजी हायर किया किसको? टाटा पावर को. क्लियर? टाटा पावर और रिलायंस को. इनके पास एक और ऑप्शन है कि टाटा पावर क्योंकि 8 रुपीज वाली इलेक्ट्रिसिटी ना खरीद के पावर एक्सचेंज. व्हाट इज अ पावर एक्सचेंज? Power exchange is like this, your computer screen, where all the power producers are selling their electricity. Even the renewable energy is getting added here. Here the average cost increases or decreases like the way it happens on the Sensex. ठीक है, अब यहाँ पे average cost होगी 7 rupees 76 paisa on day 1. Tomorrow it could be 5 rupees depending upon the surplus electricity. Clear? सो डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कंपनी के पास जो अपने सरकारी थर्मल पावर प्लांट्स हैं उनकी कॉस्ट यहाँ, अगर उनके पास में 1000 यूनिट्स हैं, मेगावाट इलेक्ट्रिसिटी है, अगर वो यहाँ पे अवेलेबल कराएंगे तो उनको नुकसान होगा. क्यों? क्योंकि यहाँ पे वो 8 रुपीज़ पे बेच रहे हैं, बट यहाँ पे उनको मार्केट कंडीशन के हिसाब से बेचना पड़ेगा. यहाँ पे अदानी के थर्मल पावर प्लांट की बिजली भी बिक रही है और रिलायंस की भी बिक रही है, टाटा की भी बिक रही है, बिरला की भी. सबकी इलेक्ट्रिसिटी के यूनिट्स यदि यहाँ आ जाएंगे, डिमांड एंड सप्लाई के हिसाब से प्राइस जो निकल के आएगा वही रिसीव करना पड़ेगा. अब इसमें जो डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर प्राइवेट कंपनी है जिसने डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कंपनी से कॉन्ट्रैक्ट लिया है उसका फायदा है, लेकिन इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बिल में ये क्लियर नहीं है कि क्या डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कंपनी से महंगी पावर खरीदना मैंडेटरी होगा या सस्ती पावर, पावर एक्सचेंज वाली पावर खरीदना भी एक सौदा हो सकता है, एक जरिया हो सकता है. दिस पॉइंट इज क्लियर टू एवरीवन. सो ये सारी चीज़ें अभी के लिए थोड़ा टाइम लगेगा, बट जब हम जनवरी में इस कोर्स में ये चीज़ों को समझेंगे. आइडल फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट बता तो दिया. राज, इफ यू आर सिटिंग आइडल देयर इज अ फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट for you, the room that you are sitting in, the light that is turned on there, okay, the money that your parent has invested on your laptop, etc., your laptop is depreciating with each passing day. That cost is called idling fixed cost. Even if the computer is lying idle, it is having a cost. Similarly, even if thermal plant is lying idle, it has got the salary of upkeep and maintenance staff getting incurred. It has got the depreciation on the plant incurred. The life of the plant is just 50 years. If you use it, it will be 45 years. If you don't use it, it is going to last for not more than 50 years, after which there will be cracks. Okay, that is added. What's the need to have these sub-franchises? Because they say that these public sector undertakings, the distribution companies are not so efficient. If you remember, Vishnu, I told you that these are being corporatized. Okay, I gave you the example of State Transport Corporation in the polity class. So the same thing is applicable here. Clear है सबको? सब फ्रेंचाइजी क्यों हायर करते हो? ठीक है, ये बोला जा रहा है कि सरकारी कंपनी है वो एफिशिएंट नहीं है, बट अगर सरकारी कंपनी में ई श्रीधरन जैसे मेट्रो के जैसे चीफ लगाए गए थे, ई श्रीधरन दिल्ली मेट्रो रेल कॉरपोरेशन के, अगर प्राइवेट कंपनीज के सीईओज को लाया जाए या फिर आईएएस ऑफिसर्स को ऑटोनॉमी दी जाए तो ये डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कंपनीज भी काम करेंगी, उतना ही अच्छा काम करेंगी और कम पैसे में करेंगी. तो दिस इज अगेन, फर्स्ट you run the public sector entity as per the whims and the fancies of the political class. When the entity starts running into losses, you say that let's bring in privatization in the form of sub-franchisee or in some form or the other. Clear? Now, since you guys are beginner, it will take you some time to understand these things. After maybe 1 or 2 months, it will be a cakewalk. I'll just be showing you the slides and you will be able to memorize. Now, first point, if electricity bill is silent, okay, on whether a private sub-franchisee would be required to buy the expensive power. If it is the first, gains from the move are doubtful, since the room for efficiency improvements is rather restricted in the already profitable regions. ठीक है, अगर पहली प्रपोजल होती है कि एक्सपेंसिव पावर वो खरीदते भी हैं तो भी एफिशिएंसी गेन तो होंगे नहीं. क्यों? क्योंकि जो ऑलरेडी प्रॉफिटेबल एरियाज हैं जहां पे प्राइवेट कंपनीज बिजली प्रदान करने का ठेका लेंगे सरकारी कंपनी से, वहां पे ऑलरेडी एफिशिएंसी है, तभी तो वो ले रहे हैं गेन, तभी तो वो इस एरिया का ठेका लेना चाह रहे हैं. जैसे आप बोलते हो कि जब बड़े भाई और छोटे भाई में कुछ चीज़ का कुछ बंटवारा होता है, जैसे मुकेश अंबानी ने जो है अच्छी अच्छी कंपनीज ले ली, ठीक है, तो वैसे ही जब कोई प्राइवेट कंपनी जिस एरिया में ऑलरेडी द एरिया द रीजन वेयर द प्रॉफिट इज ऑलरेडी हैपनिंग, व्हाई वुड दे वांट टू डिस्ट्रीब्यूट इट देयर, right? Improvements is rather restricted in the already profitable regions, attractive to sub franchises. If they go for the second, if the sub franchisee plans to purchase the power and is allowed to purchase the power from the power exchanges, then distribution companies will then be saddled with the costly power purchase from locked in power purchase agreements. Locked in power purchase agreements matlab these distribution companies, government distribution companies, are already into an agreement with the Tata Power to purchase the electricity, or Reliance Thermal Power to purchase the electricity at a predetermined price, and there is a lock-in period of 30 years. Now these distribution companies will any which ways have to purchase this power from these Reliance or Tata like private companies, and they will have to distribute this power to the franchisee, or they will have to make available, they will have to sell this power at the market price, right? So this is going to be the loss for distribution companies, because they are already married and they are now going into a sub marriage, what they are calling technically as sub franchisee model. Are you getting my point? They are already married to purchase the power and they are selling the power themselves. Now if they would hire a sub franchisee, whether the sub franchisee would buy the power which the distribution company is mandatorily required to purchase from Reliance or Tata or Adani or any other private power producer. What would they do with this costly power? They have one option to sell it to sub franchisee at the market determined price, or they have the other option to sell it on the power purchase exchange. समझ में आया? No, discoms are not bound. What would you do with this power? You cannot store it, right? Yes, discoms are bound to purchase the power, but they are not bound to sell the power to power exchange. Ultimately they will have to do something with it. No, they cannot sit over the power. ऐसा थोड़ी कि मंत्री पावर खा जाएंगे, राइट? मंत्री इलेक्ट्रिसिटी नहीं खा सकते, पावर खा सकते हैं, पॉलिटिकल पावर. क्लियर? नाउ सेकंड पॉइंट, द अमेंडमेंट proposes even greater concessions to renewable power developers with its cascading effect on idling fixed charges, impacting the profitability of distribution companies even more. Amendment proposes even greater concession for the renewable power developers to fulfill India's 1.75 gigawatts of renewable energy target, with its cascading impact on idling fixed charges. This will lead to idling of the established thermal power plants. Getting it? They will be idle for even now. This is like Raj having one laptop and another new laptop. That laptop, new one, is made from the renewable energy and it is going to consume renewable energy. Nonetheless, Raj's cost of the old laptop being idle, the coal power run laptop lying idle, is going to be there. He will have to add to the cost of his new laptop, or the electricity being supplied or the product being made and supplied by him. He would add he would have to add the cost of depreciation and idling fixed charges of his old laptop. If that laptop is on EMI or interest charges, he would have to add to the cost of power. Thereby, the distribution companies which are having tie-ups with the old thermal power plants, their cost would increase further. So this is like HIV वाले आदमी को एड्स करवाना, समझ में आया? उसको ब्लड तो क्या ही देना है. यहाँ पे जो ऑलरेडी द कंपनीज विच आर रीलिंग अंडर डेट, you give them autonomy, let them solve their own mess, sign an agreement, and then appoint the private players or appoint the retired IAS officers or IAS officers on a contractual basis, that if an IAS officer being the managing director of the distribution company is not able to manage the mess in next 5 years, having given the full autonomy, he would not be able to remain on the job. Isn't it a better way? Rather than saying that this is of no use, let's bring in the private sector via sub-franchisee or any other model, right? Any other mode. Third, and the most controversial amendment proposed, seeks to eliminate in one stroke the cross subsidies in retail power tariff. This means each consumer category would be charged what it costs to the service to service that category. So if I am a farmer's category in India, the power is charged in this manner. For domestic households, power is ₹5. Okay. For BPL, power is 3 rupees per unit. On an average, I am saying for BPL category, below poverty line. For domestic, middle class. Okay, you can write it middle class this way, on an average. Now, the 5 rupees here includes the cost 1 rupee for the loss being incurred here. Clear? Actual cost of power supplied to the government is, let's say, 4 rupees. Now, for the farmers, it is 0 up to 500 units in some states and total 0 for others. In order to cross subsidize that, electricity supplied to industrial sector is at the cost ₹8 rupees per unit. This is to cross subsidize the price of 4 rupees, the actual cost. Got it? This is what we call as cross subsidization. You are recovering the money, you are recovering the expenditure being incurred on the free category from the profitable category. Is it serving any purpose? No, because this farmer, when he goes to purchase any industrial equipment, let's say this industry is making tube wells. The cost of tube well without 8 rupees power, with 4 rupees power, would have been 3,800 rupees. But when you add the 8 rupees electricity per unit, the cost becomes 4,500 rupees. So for the wastage being done by the farmers, 4,500 rupees are being spent by we the people. Okay, for the below poverty line, it is still fine. Cross subsidization will be a thing of past if this happens. It's a good thing that cross subsidization should not be there. For every cello or Milton tiffin, for every pen of Reynolds, you are paying an extra cost for somebody else's wastage. But farmers cannot recover this price out of the wheat grain or food grain. Why? Because that is another problem, FCI, Food Corporation of India. So this culture of food subsidies and all, it is another evil afflicting the growth of Indian economy. We will see all these things together. Then please keep in mind, when we would be discussing the agriculture sector reform or the FCI reform, please keep this point in mind. Okay. Now the free electricity being supplied, there is a constraint because farmer cannot recover beyond MSP. So anything above MSP is beyond the pale of the farmer. So that's why we are supplying the inputs at a subsidized cost to the farmer, be it fertilizer subsidy, be it urea subsidy, be it electricity, be it free water. not realizing whether whether the farmer can afford it or not. There are some sections of the farm sector economy who can afford it. Some sections can afford it, but others cannot. This is cross subsidization. Now, eliminating these subsidies in one go is not possible. This is like you are withdrawing the drugs to a person who is a drug addict. So people are very much comfortable. They have taken it as a way of life. Rural consumers requiring long lines and numerous step down transformers and attendant higher line losses will pay the steepest tariffs. Disingenuously, the proposed amendments envisage that state governments will directly subsidize whichever category they want to through direct benefit transfers. Now what they are saying is, if you want to give power subsidy to the farmer, rather than giving it in the form of power, give it in cash form. For 500 units, a power tariff is 2 rupees, okay. If a farmer is paying for first 500 units 5 rupees, then 3 rupees, 1500 rupees will be credited to his bank account rather than channeling it through the distribution company. Is this point clear? Yes. Shashi, agriculture industries should be exempted from cross subsidization. No, you cannot segregate, right? It's we are clever Indians. On one hand, we will have an adjacent industry of agriculture industry. On the next side, we will be having a shoe making industry factory or something, right? You cannot do it. So it's better that direct benefit transfers should be there, but it should be gradual. Cross subsidy is a fact of life in even private industries, soap, newspapers, or even utilities such as telecom. There is undoubtedly a case for reducing the steep cross subsidies in electricity, but eliminating them in one stroke would not be a palatable tablet, right? तो एकदम से कैसे कर दोगे? When the state governments are already struggling with the direct power subsidies, is bound to be ruinous to their finances. Not to mention the myriad प्रॉब्लम्स विद द डायरेक्ट बेनिफिट ट्रांसफर्स. अभी डायरेक्ट बेनिफिट ट्रांसफर्स की प्रॉब्लम्स हम डिस्कस ही नहीं कर रहे हैं, ठीक है? तो ये पॉलिटिकली सुइसाइडल हो जाएगा अगर कोई स्टेट इसे एक्सेप्ट करती है. व्हाई? बिकॉज इट्स इजी टू अनाउंस द रिफॉर्म्स एट द टॉप लेवल, बट people blame the functionaries, the MLAs at the local level. Are you getting my point? The sarpanches would be thrown out of the power. The sarpanch who is the sarpanch today will not be able to win in the upcoming elections. The MLA would not be able to face the public if all this is done all of a sudden. So reform is good, but reform has to be made digestible. If it is brought about too soon, too fast, it might lead to backlash. State regulators, the fourth point, state regulators will henceforth be appointed by a central selection committee, the composition of which inspires little confidence in its objectivity, jeopardizing not only the regulatory autonomy and independence, but also the concurrent status. So state regulators will henceforth be appointed by central selection committee, and the composition of which inspires little confidence in its objectivity, jeopardizing not only the regulatory autonomy but also the concurrent status. So electricity is a subject in the concurrent list. Finally, the establishment of a centralized electricity contract enforcement authority whose members and chairperson will again be selected by the same selection committee referred to the above. The power to adjudicate upon the disputes relating to the contracts will be taken away from the state electricity regulatory commissions, and these powers will henceforth be vested in this new authority. Is it not like a kind of onslaught on the powers, on the federal powers of the state governments? Yes. Okay, so this is being done to ensure that the states saddled with high priced power purchase agreements and idling fixed costs, yet forced to keep increasing the share of renewable increasing the share of the renewables in their energy basket, have no room for maneuvering. Clear hai? जो जिन स्टेट्स के पास हाई प्राइस्ड पावर परचेज अग्रीमेंट्स जिन्होंने पहले से साइन कर रखे हैं, क्योंकि मोदी गवर्नमेंट ने बाद में पावर को क्या किया, रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी को सब्सिडाइज कर दिया, उसकी वजह से कोल बेस्ड थर्मल पावर प्लांट्स को अपने यूनिट प्राइसेस को, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी पर यूनिट प्राइस को कम करना पड़ा. तो दिस इज व्हाट इज हैपनिंग. दिस इज टू इंश्योर दैट states saddled with high priced power purchase agreements and idling fixed costs yet forced to keep increasing the share of renewables in their basket have no room for maneuvering. मतलब leverage का कोई room नहीं रह जाएगा. There is no leeway available to them. Clear? So this was there. Then डिस्कॉम की ट्रबल्स देखते हैं. These proposals have to be seen in the context of a continuing centralization of control over the sector whose main impact in the last 25 years has been to drive up the cost of power purchase to 80% of the total cost. Getting it? तो ये सारा इसका इम्पैक्ट हो जाएगा. एट द कोर ऑफ डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कंपनीज वरीज इज टू पार्ट टैरिफ पॉलिसी मैंडेटेड बाय यूनियन मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ पावर in the 1990s at the behest of because of the force from World Bank. As more private developers came forward to invest in generation, distribution companies were required to sign long-term power purchase agreements, committing to pay a fixed cost to the power generator, irrespective of whether state draws power or not. समझ में आया? अगर आपने किसी से पावर परचेज अग्रीमेंट ही कर लिया तो आप क्या कर रहे हो, आप एक बूफे मॉडल में एक बूफे का परचेज कर रहे हो. इवन इफ यू ईट द फूड और नॉट, यू वुड हैव टू पे फॉर इट, राइट? तो ये एक दिक्कत है. एंड अ वेरिएबल चार्ज फॉर फ्यूल when it does purchase the power. The power purchase agreement signed by these companies, distribution companies, were based on over optimistic projection of the power demand estimated by none other than Central Electricity Authority herself, a central agency. The 18th Electric Power Survey overestimated peak electricity demand for 2019-20 by 70 gigawatt. In the event distribution companies को लगा कि बाद में पावर महंगी हो जाएगी, they logged into long-term contracts. End up these distribution companies logged into long-term contracts ended up servicing the perpetual fixed cost for power which is actually not being drawn by them, right? Due to the Central Electricity Agency's overestimates the all India plant load factor. Plant load factor is another technical measure. If the load on a plant is 100%, that means plant is generating 100% of the electricity it could produce. If the plant load factor is just 56%, that means plants are lying idle by 44% of their capacity, even as we are adding more and more to the renewable energy. Now the point is, we need to see whether renewable is something we need to adopt at this juncture or it is just another fancy baby for the policy makers. समझ में आया? फैंसीफुल आइडियाज़ की हम जो हैं सोलर प्लांट और ये सब लेके आ रहे हैं. सोलर के चक्कर में हमारे बैंक्स के लिए प्रॉब्लम्स बढ़ती चली जा रही है. ठीक है, क्लाइमेट चेंज एक रियलिटी है. पेरिस में वी हैव टू शो अप विद अ बोल्ड फेस, बट our own economy, Moody's and Fitch rating agencies are not going to appreciate the fact that India is the leader in the renewable energy. Clear? Even as countries like USA are reneging on their things. Now the things do not stop here. See this, that we imported $13 billion worth of goods from China. There's one line here. We'll talk about the schemes also. This is how my topic based approach is going to be. Now up till this point we have covered, right? So from 2010 solar and wind power plants were declared as must run. So even if the coal power based thermal plants are lying idle, but they have to run. This leads to a further idling of coal based power plants, requiring the distribution companies to absorb all the renewable energy as long as there was sun or wind in excess of the mandatory renewable purchasing obligations. Distribution companies are having purchase obligations from the previously signed coal-based power purchase agreements, and now the Ministry of Power's new diktat says that they have to absorb all the renewable energy being produced over and above their mandatory ceiling of 15% of the total energy basket. 15% means of the total energy mix, at least 15 has to come from renewable. This means backing down thermal generation to accommodate all the available green power, entailing further idle fixed cost payable on the account of two-part tariff power purchase agreements. Second, power demand peaks after sunset. In the absence of viable storage, we cannot store the sunlit, solar energy. We have to consume it. In the daytime itself, every megawatt of renewable power requires twice as much spinning reserves to keep lights on after sunset. Distribution companies have to keep as a backup the thermal power option so as to provide electricity during the peak evening hours after the sunset. So distribution companies, especially in the southern region, have had to integrate large volumes of infirm power, mostly from solar and wind energy plants, which enjoy must-run status irrespective of their high tariffs. Rupees 5 per kilowatt hour in Karnataka and 6 in Tamil Nadu, even as the demand growth envisaged in the 18th Energy Production Survey failed to materialize. Third problem, in 2015, the centre announced an ambitious target of 175 gigawatts of renewable power by 2022, offering a slew of concessions to renewable energy developers and aggravating the burden of the distribution companies. Incidentally, the China benefited by as much as $13 billion in the last 5 years from India's solar panel imports. Sun is natural, but panels are not. Panels are the patented property of China, with whom we are having bilateral disputes. So we have to carefully weigh the policies that even though solar is necessary, we are under pressure from sustainable development goals, associations and meetings, Paris conference and the upcoming conference. We have to weigh these policy options domestically as to what impact would they have on the domestic sector economy, public sector banks and the distribution companies, the federal the concurrent subject, how they would disturb the federal balance. Problem is not this. Problem is that does not end here. The problem is that we are in the era of what? We are in the era of supra system. What is this supra system? Supra system is the big multinational organizations like United Nations Framework on Climate Convention, all these things. United Nations Framework Convention for Climate Change, they are guiding our national policy. National policy jurisdiction starts from here, where the nation state starts from. These overarching global goals, multinational sustainable development goals, okay, they impact our intra-nation policy making. They impact the jurisdiction of issues between the states and the center. That is why the central government is under obligation to fulfill these goals, and in the process the entire structure, the federal structure, is getting disturbed. Not only this, railways, we can talk about agriculture, there are n number of reforms. Okay, so now coming here, we will be covering these electrification in India, various government schemes in the next lecture tomorrow. This is how our classes are going to be, and tomorrow onwards in the first 1 hour we will be covering the DNA. DNA will be so organized that we are able to cover it in 1 hour in a time bound manner. Efficiency gains are going to be there for you, and then Saubhagya scheme and other topic based analysis will be taken up. One of the topics in the newspaper will be taken up for in-depth threadbare discussion. I hope you liked this class. कल से हमारा rigorously classes start हो जाएंगी. 2 घंटे की daily class रहेगी. 1 घंटे में topic based analysis और 1 घंटे में newspaper. Editorials will be divided into points and there will be question answer sessions on every Saturday. Clear? मोड ऑफ, ये सारा PDF आपको मिल जाएगा जो आपकी क्लास का करंट अफेयर्स राउंडअप का एक डाउट्स और करंट अफेयर्स राउंडअप का एक ऑफिशियल ग्रुप बनाया जाएगा, टेलीग्राम ग्रुप, तो उसमें आपको ये सारी चीज़ें मिल जाएंगी. आई हैव एक्सप्लेन्ड यू द स्ट्रक्चर एंड एवरीथिंग. Okay, smart cities and everything will be covering as a next topic. So I am prepared for the next 25 classes on this. We'll be adding one class every day. So smart cities and the urban sector is going to be our next topic in these classes after electricity. Clear? Any doubts, guys? This is the constitutional scheme, Pranav. Alright, so this was all for today, guys. See you at 4:30 p.m. For our 5:30 p.m. for our economy class, in which we are going to talk about national income. Thank you, guys. Today's was just a kind of orientation session. रोज होगी ये क्लास, टेस्ट रोज होगी कि आफ्टर द क्लास. करंट अफेयर्स के टेस्ट थोड़ी देर से शुरू करेंगे, आज से नहीं. Today's DNA I will do. Okay. Thank you, guys. Prateek, please revise it once because you are quite new to these topics, so थोड़ा confusing लगेगा आप लोग जो beginners हो current affairs में. अगर एक बार इसको दोबारा से देख लोगे, PDF से go through करोगे तो चीज़ें आसान हो जाएंगी. I hope so. If they do not, doubts classes are going to be there. Don't worry. Okay. I hope this was helpful and an enjoyable class for all of you. Thank you, guys.